Water and ground type is one of the best type combinations in the game. Being able to get same type attack bonus off moves like Surf and Earthquake, while still being able to use the likes of Ice and Rock type moves effectively, makes them extremely versatile. Barboach is no exception to this. Despite being outshone by Swampert in this generation, and overlooked by Gastrodon in the next, I think we all have a special place in our hearts for this slippery little mudfish. It's got a pretty interesting moveset, including the likes of Rest and Snore for a little tactic there, and Amnesia. It learns Earthquake quite early as well. Nearly all of its base stats are below 50 though, and that just makes it well balanced. I am thinking that due to its type combo, it will do better than Mudkip in my little Gen 3 leaderboard, but will this be the case? The rules of the challenge are fairly simple. I can only use Barboach in battle, I can have other Pokemon in my party for HMs and pickup, but I can't use those in battle. No items will be used in battle, only held items, and no hacking in rare candies. This is a time trial after all with the rest of the Pokemon in Gen 3. How do you think Barboach will do? Leave a comment in the comment section below, and without further ado, let's start the challenge. So we start the game by replacing Mudkip with Barboach, the superior mudfish. I didn't know what to nickname it, so I asked on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and got the name suggestion Patat. It works since potatoes live in the ground, and they grow with water after all. Another suggestion was Megan the Stallion because it's a bottom eater. I think a better name would have been Doja because its Japanese name is Dojoch, and I could have also called it Doja Catfish. This first part of the game is the most tedious part of the whole run and a real time killer, because our only move is Mud Slap, a 10 PP move with 20 base power. Sure, we get the 1.5 times boost from Stab, but it still is really bad. Even worse than that is getting into struggle range, because at level 6 we learn two pointless moves that are Mud Sport and Water Sport, both at 15 PP, so that's just 30 PP of useless moves that we have to deplete to make any battle with more than 2 Pokemon manageable. It was a very terrible time, as with only 10 uses of a really weak move, Barboach is hardly able to defeat anything in battle. Eventually we do get it to level 11 where it does learn Water Gun. Finally, a good move. I mean, I could have used Mud Slap on the Geodudes in the gym, but using Water Gun was way more fun. For the gym battle I did give Barboach an Oran Berry, but it never came into play as her Nose Pass was the only thing that caused us a problem, but that's only because we heal locked it. It took a bit longer than it should have to get the first badge, but we've finally done it. Not much happens between now and the travel to Dewford apart from Zigzagoon finding a PP up. Who's a good boy? You'll get your own video soon. I didn't fight the gym leader however, instead I saved the museum and battled some trainers since I know a certain rival battle is going to be a massive roadblock for us. Barboach did learn Magnitude, which is a big step up on Mud Slap aside from the accuracy drops that Mud Slap brings, but I'll take the extra power at this point. I am done with Mud Slap. I also got the Soft Sand item from the Slayport Beach, which raises the power of ground type moves by 10% when held. We also now have the Rock Tomb on our moveset because fighting the Wingull was an annoyance, but it didn't really stay for that long. I just thought I'd bring it up seeing as it's there. We probably would have lost this battle against Brawley, but Magnitude was a massive help for us getting past the Makuhita especially. We land the ever powerful Magnitude 9 on it before it uses Bulk Up, but another Magnitude under Water Gun did take it down. And now, are you ready for what is going to be the worst part of the game? Anyone knowledgeable to Gen 3 speedrunning knows that this rival battle is the devil, since you have to use Marsh Stomp at that stage, while we have Sank with 117 less total base stats, and no items in battle. Even when maxing out on Amnesia boosts, we have to get very lucky on Magnitude rolls, which is already too much of a gamble. I did some more leveling up to teach Barboach 2 new moves in Rest and Snore. Rest will be good to help us heal up, and Snore will allow us to do some damage while we're asleep. And with the Amnesia boosts we can at least get in a bit of damage before we have to wake up and use Rest again. Sadly, this idea is extremely flawed because Rest and Snore do not have enough PP to last the whole battle, and Snore is really terrible. The damage that Snore does is even healed up by Grovyle using Absorb. Even with the King's Rock our Zigzagoon picked up, nothing is working. This battle took a bit more leveling up and a bit more luck with flinches via the King's Rock and critical hits, but we finally take down the Grovyle after what feels like a millennium, and can finally move on to Marville. Barboach is extremely lucky that this leaderboard I've got is based off of in-game time, or it would have already been bottom tier. Okay, that's a bit harsh since at level 31 we do get Earthquake. Yeah, a 100 base power move just like that before the third gym, and Watson's electric types don't stand a chance. The next gym is a fire type gym, so I'm expecting more of the same from the powers of Earthquake. Barboach is now an unstoppable force with Earthquake. It's sweeping trainers left, right and centre, and while it's sweeping opponents, look at this image of Barboach drawn as a sock I found. It's really nice. Maxi was a bit annoying to battle since our best move is affected by Intimidate and doesn't even hit Golbat, plus Sand Attack. Despite the Sand Attack hacks and all that was going on around us, we did eventually get past him and get to fight Flannery. As you would expect with a battle against the Fire Gym leader, it was a first try victory, but none of her Pokemon were one-shot, which I do find quite concerning. We do however have to go to the next gym, and the first attempt versus Norman was one to forget. I was not really confident of beating him yet anyway, but I gave it a go with the King's Drop equipped. We got one shot, because we paralysed it with Secret Power, which activated the boosts on the move Facade. That wasn't very good, but it didn't take me too many tries to win this battle, but the plan was to just use Brute Force. I had the soft sand for this winning run, and it may have made the difference, but I couldn't really tell because I got a critical hit on the first slacking. Vigoroth can be strong, but we land a 2-shot with Earthquake, and the final slacking I've noticed loves to use Focus Punch, so we abuse that by attacking non-stop, forcing Norman to heal, but that doesn't really matter as we still won the badge after taking out. Now I don't really care about the badge because we got the next best thing in the run, and that is the HM for Surf from Wally's parents. A godsend among water types. Of course, with our new surfing ability, the first thing I had to do was get the TM for Ice Beam. It would be rude not to. But what would be rude is if we took a familiar face in cast form and just stole the Mystic Water off it. But what was even ruder than that was the rival returning with a vengeance. We can only take the Grovyle to red health with Ice Beam before Leaf Blade does unholy amounts of damage to us. We only won thanks to a critical hit. And I think I even used Earthquake on that run. I don't know why I was using Earthquake. Luckily, I never have to fight the rival again, and I think that's actually the last mandatory grass type for the rest of the game. Don't quote me on that. Wait, no, there's Shifter in the Elite Four. Definitely don't quote me on that. Now, normally I'd go straight to Lily Cove to unlock it as a flyable area, but I felt confident going into the Flying Gym with Ice Beam, and I didn't really want to backtrack to Fortree, so I just went right to the gym. Swallow and Pelipper were simple enough to take out. I did check to see if I had Hidden Power Electric for the Pelican, but we had Poison type. Boring. Skarmory might have been tricky in some way, but we did get the flinch with King's Rock, so I guess we'll never know. And Altaria is a Flying Dragon type, which is a nice insight to the future battle with Drake that we're going to have. After proceeding to dunk on Team Magma, I went to the Mossdeep gym to fight the double battle. Normally I'd catch a Magikarp for this, but I had a Wingull on my team for Fly, and that has the move Mist, which is essentially useless in this battle, so I kept it in, rather than going to Dewford, getting the old rod, fishing up a Magikarp. It's time, and time is of the essence. I do have Surf, which hits 2 Pokemon on the field, so I'm not that worried, but my only concern is Solrock having Solar Beam. This battle was really not going to plan. I couldn't seem to brute force my way past, and even if I could beat one of their team, the Lunatone would Calm Mind wreck us, or Solrock would get in a Solar Beam. I decided to try again, but this time I swapped the Mystic Water for the King's Rock, and somehow it worked better. I'm not sure how a boost to my water moves was worse, and I'm not sure why they didn't heal their Pokemon in the end when they were down to red HP, but whatever. I'm going to take the win, and I'm going to take the badge. So before the next gym, let's go save the world quickly. Maxi uses the Indigo Orb to awaken the big burgundy monster, which is still a big no-no, no matter what shade of red and blue you use, and we promptly kick it back to whatever hole it crawled out of. So for the final gym, it's a battle of water v water, or water ground, and it was a really annoying battle. My first try was done really quickly thanks to confusion hacks, but I kept the level I gained from that battle and used a rare candy and tried again. And try again I did, many times, but I kept having the same poor outcome. Seeking was the main part as to why I kept feeling pain in this gym battle, and that's because it kept using Rain Dance to not only boost its speed with Swift Swim and the power of its water type moves, but it has Water Pulse, which of course confuses more often than it doesn't. I just had to find some trainers on the high seas to defeat and go through that treacherous gym puzzle again at level 60. I also went to get some Chesto Berries to start the Resto Chesto strategy for a quick heal mid-battle. It starts off simply enough with one shot on Love Disc and our lazy-eyed evolved form being outdone by Surf and Earthquake. Basically a tsunami if you think about it. Celio confuses us with Water Pulse of course, but we still knock it out, not hitting ourselves in the process. Now it's time for that dreaded Seeking. I never thought I'd be say dreaded and seeking in the same sentence. But we got it out of the way as fast as we could, but only on half health for the Milotic. We hit an Earthquake but take big damage from a Water Pulse, so I had to rest up. It uses Twister and we take it into the far red with another Earthquake as it uses Recover. This Recover was damaging to it as it takes it out of Hyper Potion range, but still within Earthquake range, allowing us to land a hit and getting the KO, and that gym was a lot harder than it should have been. and from a Seeking of all things. So now we're going to go into the Pokemon League, and quick apologies for the microphone quality, I had to use a different headset at the time. So after doing a bit of training and beating Wally, we're now at level 70. Our moveset is pretty much optimised, but will this be enough to beat the Elite Four? What level do you think I'll beat the game at? Leave it in the comments below, and let's do this. First is Sydney, and he caused me a few issues on numerous occasions. Not because he's difficult or anything, it's just the annoyances of Intimidate right away, weakening Earthquake, and the Shift using Double Team 100 times in a row, making us unable to hit it, and then using Extra Sensory to flinch us, making our attacks even less frequent than my upload schedule. His team really isn't anything too tough in the long run, it just winds me up a bit. What causes me great frustration though, is the first turn curse from Phoebe's Dusclops. Any frequent flyers to my channel and Gen 3 challenges will know that this move is the bane of my existence, and makes us level up unholy amounts just to get past it unscathed. This of course leads to a lot of losses, and even the Resto Chesto strategy can't help us, because it takes away 1/4 of our health each turn, and with her team never being one-shot at this stage, we just have to keep trying. I did get one attempt where she didn't use Curse, but I didn't have a Chesto Berry equipped, so we were on very low health for her final Dusclops. I guess it's back to the drawing board, and the only thing on the board is to overlevel. I got Barboach level 80 and managed to get past Phoebe the one time out of 10 that she didn't use Curse, and had my first attempt against Glacia. Since Ice and Water moves do neutral damage against water ground types, this is probably the hardest Elite Four member we have to face. But there was still a bit of a bad luck vendetta against our Mudfish friend, as on multiple occasions, her Pokemon would use Blizzard and freeze us, making the battle immediately a dead run, and it's even more slow and painful than just fainting, because we just have to wait to see if we thaw out, which we don't. Even Resto Chesto couldn't save us from the frozen hell we found ourselves in. No matter what we try, the Walrein is just too bulky. No change of items or strategy works well, so let's just bring up that old drawing board again. It took me 8 more levels from my first attempt at Glacia to make it past, having just enough in the tank to survive the hits from Walrein and not get frozen. Blizzard only has a 10% chance of freezing by the way, so I had no idea why it was so common. Either way, we defeated Glacia and can move on to the battle with Drake at last, and with our enhanced levels and Ice Beam, this battle went as well as it would have. All his team were one-shot and we didn't take any damage at all in the process. It sure makes a change from the Blazing Emerald challenge where I battled him. Check out that video after this one if you don't know what I mean. Now I get to battle the champion for the first time. I equipped the Soft Sand and restored the PP of our moves, and can we do this on the first try? Luckily Skarmory didn't use Toxic, instead going for Spikes, which is basically like Splash in a solo run challenge, so we could take that out. I was wondering if we'd have to use the Chesto Berry strategy to get past it just to heal up the poison, but we don't have to. Cradily was my main fear since it has Giga Drain, which will certainly be a one-shot on us, but it used Confuse Ray instead of a move that would have beaten us. Of course we still have to battle through the confusion, which we did spectacularly. Steven then sent in Metagross, but with Earthquake at our disposal, the only issue this gave us was wasting our PP and our time, since we heal locked it having 4 full restores used on it. Surely you figure out that just healing it isn't going to work. And with the last 3 Pokemon in Aggron, Armaldo and Claydol, they were all one-shot victories so quick that their names are now on Twitter's trending page, leading to the champion being defeated, and now I've officially beaten Pokemon Ruby with only a Barboach. But how did it do? So Barboach beats the game around 2.5 hours slower than Mudkip did, but only a level higher, which is really impressive. The main time killer had to be the time spent grinding at the start of the game with only Mudslap, the rival battle after Slateport, and then the Elite Four versus Glacia. But like a lot of Gen 3 Pokemon, mid-game really kicked it up a gear. Having Earthquake so early made the section from the 3rd gym onwards a breeze, and it was really so good then. No complaints whatsoever apart from a few annoying battles. If those went a bit smoother, then I'm sure the times would have been closer. Of course the random grass types on the way were really hard to deal with even with Ice Beam. Maybe a few more EVs and attack for Earthquake would have made the Elite Four a bit better, since we left so many Pokemon on red HP. I've made a new tier list using the template that everyone uses, and I've put it in B tier, just above Torchic. This is because despite Castform having a higher time because I was new to these types of challenges, it was an easier Pokemon to use and finish the game at a lower level. What Pokemon would you like to see me try and beat the game with next? And if you did enjoy that video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and if you still haven't done that yet, you were busy enjoying the video, then do it now. You've got no excuse. Also follow me on Twitter at Super123, and I will see you all in the next video.